can be pretty useful to be able to take a motion in two directions and change it so that it's a rotation in one direction. For example, something like a wave power machine. The wave goes up and down, and of course we could put a buoy on there that would move up and down. And that up and down movement, if we could change it into a single direction rotation, well, it'd be really easy to connect a generator to it. The same thing would happen with trees, where you have them waving in the wind, and if they pull a string and you could change that backwards and forwards to a rotation, then of course it would be useful. And there was a very popular mechanism for doing exactly that using bevel gears and ratchets. If we have a ratchet in a bevel gear, of course it will only turn one way, and the ratchet makes it split the other, and then we can force the turn with one direction only. If we do the opposite ratchet and connect another bevel gear, it will actually output in one direction with the ratchet slipping in the other direction. And we made this in video 1914, but instead of using ratchets, what we did was we used toothbrushes which acted like a ratchet, which I thought was quite fun. But there is another way of doing this that doesn't use ratchets at all. It just uses gears, and here it is. Here is a completely gear-based mechanical rectifier where this rack moves in and out, and it doesn't matter the direction that the rack moves, this will only rotate in one direction, which is pretty cool, I thought. So, let me show you how we put that together. Here's the drawing that I drew up in Tinkercad. Well, let's print it out. And when you print it off, this is what you get. Now, to put this thing together, we start with the bottom plate, and that's this one here. Now, we can tell that because all of the holes in it are the same size. They're 8mm. On the top plate, some of the holes are 6mm, and you have 6 of these pegs here. The pegs fit in these holes very tightly, so you put them in those holes and press them to fit. And you don't put them in that hole, or that hole, or that hole. It's these 6 holes. This one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and just press them in. So they're like that. Then we take our gears. Now on the gears, we've got one with a very long spindle on it, and the other 2 have the same size spindle. The long spindle drops in there, and the ones with the same size spindle, one drops in there, and one drops in there. Then we take this central gear, and the central gear fits in that slot right there, like that. And then we take the top plate and put the top plate on, so this slot faces that slot there. And we've done that and checked everything's free to spin. That gear goes on there and gets glued in place, and this rack slides in that slot. Okay, so I've put a dot on it so you can actually see it moving, and it doesn't matter which way this rack moves. So as I pull that in and out, then that dot always travels in the same direction, and that is a mechanical rectifier using just gears. So it works really well, and I've done it in this modular form should anybody want to use this particular mechanism for doing exactly the same job. I mean, there are loads of ways you could arrange it, and it works on a very basic principle of gears. So let's just remove the top again and have a bit of a better look. Now, what it is if I turn a gear, say in a clockwise direction, then because it's interfacing here, this turns in the opposite direction. Notice with 2 gears, that's the case. With 3 gears, it swaps again. With 4 gears, it swaps again. So every time there's an even number of gears, the finish gear will rotate in the opposite direction. Every time there's an odd number of gears, the finish gear will rotate in the same direction. So the question is, how do we get it to do that? And here you've got a little slot, and if we put a gear in that little slot, and that's the input gear, as I turn the input gear, that gear is forced to move in the little slot and engage here. And if we count those, 1, 2, 3, they will turn in the same direction, and you can see them doing that. If I reverse that, then that intermediate gear is forced into this gear, and now we have an even number, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so it will reverse the change, meaning the output gear is always going to be the same. Now I used a rack to move this, moving it backwards and forwards, but I could equally have just attached it to here where it waved backwards and forwards instead of it being a rack. Here, of course, we had an output gear that was stuck on the top. The thing that happens is that shuttles between the two. So, there's a loss of power when it enters an intermediary stage, where that intermediary stage is equal to roughly half the tooth length. And this tooth length is module 2. So it's quite large, in inverted commas, in this, because for the demonstration, I made a large modulus. The modulus gets smaller, the loss of power gets smaller. But essentially, that's how it works. In a practical sense, of course, you could use this for all kinds of things. I mean, a fan, for example, if it was squeezing a handle against a spring, this would rotate the fan in one direction and make you a hand-operated fan, and of course the same with a generator. Now, I have my own evil purposes for this, of course, and that will become clear later, because the number of rotations of this is directly proportional to the distance that rack moves, so it has that property which I'm very interested in. But should anybody else be interested in this mechanism and want to play around with it, of course I'll put it on Thingiverse where it'll be there for everybody to use. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and please do remember to like and subscribe.